This week on The Splash, families have an excellent time at the park. Then we learn the latest from Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital. And later, we get a taste of Detroit jazz right here in West Bloomfield. The Splash is a production of Civic Center TV. We're a news magazine that covers everything from local news to feature stories, all so that we can bring you the latest from the greater West Bloomfield area. And now, let's dive into The Splash.
Welcome to The Splash. I'm Brooke Allen. Thank you for being with us. This year's Spring Fling Egg Hunt had residents gather for a day of fun with the family, and this event gets children and the community participating in a variety of activities and also on the hunt for colorful eggs with sweet treats inside. We sent reporter Ryan Younglove to cover this event.
As the weather gets warmer, it gives families an opportunity to go out and spend more quality time with loved ones. And with Easter right around the corner, West Bloomfield Parks put together an opportunity for families to do just that.
Today we have our 2019 Spring Fling Egg Hunt, and we have a bunch of different waves. We have 4 daylight waves, and then we also do a flashlight hunt at the end of the night for older kids. I think everyone's kind of been in that winter dreariness where they're itching to get outside, so on days where we have such a nice day, it's really nice to utilize our parks and have people draw in and come out for a reason. And it's a really fun event that the kids get to remember, picking up the eggs, going with mom and dad. So it's really about creating those memories and enjoying the beautiful parks that we have here at West Bloomfield, and then too, just really enjoying the time.
Families from all over the greater West Bloomfield came out to enjoy the festivities. I talked to a couple locals on their experience.
We just moved here, I think this month will be about 3 years ago, and so we've just started doing these activities maybe last year. As we got more aware of them, then we realized, there's all these great resources right here in West Bloomfield and the surrounding area that, like I said, are very family-oriented, and it's great.
I have 2 kids. I have a 1.5-year-old and a 4-year-old, so we came out to the event for Easter, and daughter really wanted to pick up eggs, so we gave her the opportunity to. We go to most of the local events ever since, obviously, my daughter was born. My sister actually came over here from Bloomfield Hills area with her kids, so we were able to get her out. But ultimately, it's a family event, and that's why we do it.
Not only was the Spring Fling Egg Hunt filled with Easter baskets, food, fun, and entertainment, it was filled with the most important thing of all the families enjoying the company of their loved ones. This has been Ryan Younglove, reporting for The Splash.
To find out more, you can visit civiccentertv.com/springfling2019. Henry Ford Hospital in West Bloomfield held their State of the Hospital and shared with us some of the interesting things taking place and planned for the future. Reporter Tyler Keefe brings us some of the details.
Continuing to be a hub for innovation and community involvement, Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital updated us on medicine and more at their annual State of the Hospital. In an effort to inform leaders of the community and hospital staff, executive leaders from Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital recently invited the community to join them at their State of the Hospital address, providing a look into the past, present, and future of our community's very own hospital, one of the premier medical facilities in metropolitan Detroit. A mixture of empirical data, humble appreciation, and heartfelt stories, Henry Ford West Bloomfield's leaders expressed the true character of the hospital, an environment where people come in the midst of some of the most harrowing times of their life, and so often leave with a glowing smile and an appreciation for the exceptional care they received from their doctors, nurses, and hospital staff. The state of Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital is, as it always has been, strongly driven to bolster a community, dedicated to education and the advancement of public health, and inspired to write the stories of triumph, as they have done for so many patients over the 10 years and counting of superb service to our community. Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital continues to be the place to go for first-class medical care, innovation, and community education, making the State of the Hospital once again the toast of medical facilities in metropolitan Detroit. In West Bloomfield Township, I'm Tyler Keefe, reporting for The Splash.
You can find more information on our website at civiccentertv.com/stateofthehospital2019. Coming up, we hear about a recent jazz concert at the library and then a new episode of Sidewalk Talk.
Don't go away. You're watching The Splash on Civic Center TV. now, back to The Splash on Civic Center TV.
Welcome back to The Splash. I'm Brooke Allen. Thank you for being with us. Music at Maine is bringing musicians from all over the country to West Bloomfield, and recently had a Detroit jazz quartet who shared their great music and also the stage with some local children in attendance. Splash reporter Lawrence Nyland brings us the story.
West Bloomfield residents were treated to an afternoon of outstanding music at the public library. The concert was the latest in a series called Music at Maine, and the featured band was a jazz quartet which found its way to West Bloomfield with the help of Ken Napo from the Friends of the Library.
We bring in acts from all over the country and beyond, a number of Canadian acts. Today's is jazz, we have some Broadway. It's much more diverse. It makes West Bloomfield kind of a center for culture. We're very proud of that.
I'll be home late tonight.
Veteran Detroit jazz artist Stefan Kukuruga led the eclectic quartet, and he was ecstatic to expose the band's talents to his current hometown of West Bloomfield.
I just love sharing music in general, and showing people are seeing that we're creating in the moment, which is a lot of what I think jazz is, personally. So I'm excited that they're game to have this sort of thing going on here. Of course, I'm excited because they do all kinds of stuff here at the West Bloomfield Library, so I'm thrilled they bring all these various acts and they try to keep it diverse.
Stefan's bandmates on this afternoon were Dwight Adams on trumpet.
Dwight plays for Stevie Wonder's band, he plays with James Carter all over the world, and all kinds of other ensembles all over the world.
Ralph Armstrong on bass.
Ralph is traveling all over the world also in all different kinds of, mostly jazz shows, but he's played many commercial shows with Aretha Franklin or Oak Klugh and all kinds of stuff.
And Skeeto Valdez on drums.
Skeeto is famous, especially in this part of the country, and internationally too. One of the favorite drummers here in Detroit, for sure.
That's Mia playing the piano.
A very special moment occurred when Stefan called up to the stage the two youngest musicians in the audience, local residents Mia Collingum and Satsuki Kimura.
You don't see kids at events like this that often playing live music if you're playing in clubs or concerts and stuff. So you see a couple of kids, and I play in a church downtown Detroit every Sunday morning. Kids will show up during the service and play with me. And so I thought, well, maybe these kids would enjoy that. What I love to find out, you could see how immediately, with no discussion at all, they got the idea of the rhythm, and I gave them a rule of black keys, so they started creating. Now, if we had a chance to do it for 5 minutes, I would get them to loosen up, and they would be more percussive, more syncopated. It would be much more interesting, even musically, for them and for everybody listening. So it's a quick sort of litmus test, if you will, to get them rolling, getting them involved in music without talking about it. Forget talking about it. We can study it for a year and then play, or we can play right now.
Reporting for The Splash, this is Lawrence Nyland.
To know more on this story, you can visit civiccentertv.com/musicatmaine. Now it's time for Sidewalk Talk, where reporter Patrick McElmurray asks the people of West Bloomfield a messy question.
The messiest room in my house is my den. No matter what I do, it's perpetually destroyed. What's the messiest room in your house, and why is that?
Hands down, my boys' bathroom. I don't step foot in there usually ever. I tell them to clean it. Sometimes I peek my head in there and yell a little bit, and I don't know. It's
clean it up.
It's bad.
One day they'll get it.
Yeah.
I don't have a messy room. I have a messy floor in my bathroom because I smoke in there. Yeah.
Actually, all over the place.
Yeah, but it's just me, so it's okay.
It don't matter.
My living room, because I watch way too much television. My whole family does, basically. But yeah, that's pretty much it, because we're constantly trying to clean it up and trying to keep up with it.
The basement, probably because it's the only one that's not finished in our house yet. So just the wife does everything anyways, so it's all her.
I would say probably the bathtub. Yeah. Why? Because I shower twice a day.
That'll do it. All right, Jill, what is the messiest room in your home, and why is it that way?
My daughter's room. She's just a messy animal, and I actually just took 7 or 8 trash bags, filled it up with stuff, and put it in the basement, and she didn't even notice.
That must mean it's pretty cluttered.
Yes.
Messiest room in the house is probably my bedroom, because clothes. I have clothes everywhere, and, yeah, I don't have time to fold it up and put them up. So.
Wash it and stays in the hamper.
Oh, yeah. Well, I wear them anyway, so it might as well stay out so I can just grab and go.
I would have to say my garage. And it's messy because my husband will not put it together. He won't organize it, and he takes things out, doesn't put it back. And it's his place. It's his like workspace, but he won't organize it.
Okay, I live alone, so my house is not messy, but my attic is. Christmas decorations come down, and it was cold in the attic, and I just threw them up there, so I'm waiting for it to get warm so I can put my attic back together.
It's tough, because once it gets warm, then it's going to be all stuffy and humid up there, too.
Well, I'll get it before it gets that way. I can't stand it, knowing that stuff is just up there all over the place.
When the clutter's there, a clean attic is a clean mind.
Yep, that's it.
It would be my daughter's room, and she is 15. So she does homework for about 10 hours a day and doesn't really care about much else, but she's a great kid.
Yeah, at least she's doing the homework.
Yes, she is.
My room was a mess growing up. I just never did the homework.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Patrick McElmurray. Join us next week for another episode of Sidewalk Talk.
For more episodes of Sidewalk Talk on demand, visit civiccentertv.com/Sidewalk Talk. And now it's time for the Civic Center TV event update, where we provide you with upcoming events around Greater West Bloomfield. And for more events coming up, visit civiccentertv.com/events. Dispose of prescription drugs with Operation Medicine Cabinet, happening year-round in West Bloomfield, Kego Harbor, and Orchard Lake, and takes place at the police departments of the 3 communities. Disposing of drugs is completely anonymous, open 24/7 in West Bloomfield, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 a.m. 2 p.m. in Kego Harbor, and Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. in Orchard Lake. For more information, visit oakgov.com or call your local police. Make sure to check out the Leonardo Music Concert taking place April 17th at the West Bloomfield Public Library from 10:30 a.m. to 11:15 a.m. This concert is for lovers of sing-alongs, dancing, and reading, and is for all ages. No registration is needed, and for more information, visit wblib.org. Celebrate Earth Day with West Bloomfield Parks April 18th from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Recreation Activity Center. Come explore the nature room and outdoor natural play area, as well as join guided hikes and live animal interactions. Other activities at the event will include recycle crafting and a visit from Rocky from Paw Patrol. This event is free to attend, and you can find more information at wbparks.org. The Chaldean Cultural Center open hours Fridays from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Chaldean Cultural Center and Shenandoah Country Club. Learn about the history, traditions, and culture of the Chaldean people. $5 for a self-guided tour and $10 for a guided tour. Schedule a tour and find more info at chaldeanculturalcenter.org. Join the Historical Society for a Spring Nature Walk April 21st from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. at the Orchard Lake Nature Sanctuary. Naturalist Carol Fink takes you on a guided tour through the rolling terrain of the sanctuary to view the beautiful spring flowers. The Nature Walk is free, and for more information, you can visit gwbhs.org. Visit the library for the Randy Kaplan Music Concert on April 23rd from 10:30 a.m. to 11:15 a.m. at the West Bloomfield Public Library. This is a high-energy music show with a mix of American roots music and comedic storytelling. No registration is required. For more information, visit wblib.org. Spectacular Saturdays taking place every Saturday from now until May 18th at the West Bloomfield Public Library. Spectacular Saturdays goes from 11 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. and is fun for the whole family. Begin your weekend with an interactive story time that includes great music, dancing, and of course stories. No registration is required. For more information, you can visit wblib.org. And that's this week's highlights. You can find more events online at civiccentertv.com/events and see everything going on in the greater West Bloomfield area. We're going to take a short break, and when we return, we'll have our interview with Kenneth Gutman, Superintendent of Walled Lake Consolidated School District.
Don't go away. You're watching The Splash on Civic Center TV.
Civic Center TV is your home for everything Greater West Bloomfield. Here you can tune into community programming such as our weekly news magazine show, The Splash, as well as coverage of local events and meetings in Keego Harbor, Sylvan Lake, Orchard Lake, and West Bloomfield. You can also watch all of your local programming online anytime at civiccentertv.com. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home.
For every meeting of the West Bloomfield Township Board, join Civic Center TV for a brand new show called West Bloomfield Township Board All Access, airing at 5:30 p.m. Our team will review how to access meeting agendas, go over the key issues on that night's agenda, and talk to township officials about projects happening right here in your hometown. It all happens live at 5:30 p.m. before every meeting of the West Bloomfield Township Board on Civic Center TV and 89.3 WBLD, the all-new Lakes FM.
And now, back to The Splash on Civic Center TV.
Welcome back. We're joined by Kenneth Gutman, Superintendent of Walled Lake Consolidated School District. And we are talking about a bond issue today. And first of all, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, Brooke. I'm really excited to be able to be here and talk about this.
And it's an important issue. First of all, tell me what a bond is.
So a bond is our opportunity to do some work on our schools by selling bonds that our community supports financially.
Okay.
And so we're looking at a $316 million bond issue at no tax increase, which is a rare opportunity for a school district.
So a rare opportunity for a school district to have a bond with no tax increase.
Correct.
So tell me exactly what the bond issue is on the table.
Absolutely. So we are looking at significant building infrastructure and equity issues. Some of the bigger projects include rebuilding Dublin Elementary School. Now, Dublin is a 1920s building. It's a beautiful building in the 1920s, I imagine, but currently it functions like an 1820s building. Our staff members are incredible. Our parents are incredible. But in terms of equity, what they get versus some of our students in some of our newer buildings is not comparable. And we also have some ADA issues with that building. Okay. So we would be looking to take that building to the ground and rebuild a new Dublin Elementary School on that site, built for 21st century learners. Another component is Walled Lake Western High School. Now, if you know anything about Walled Lake schools, Walled Lake Northern and Walled Lake Central High Schools are beautiful schools. Walled Lake Western, again, has a great faculty, has wonderful parents, great supportive community, great kids, but they don't have the kind of building built for our modern learners. And so we'd be looking at a renovation, but a significant renovation to Walled Lake Western High School.
So infrastructure.
Infrastructure.
Okay.
Another aspect of that would be building an early childhood center to attract and retain young students into our district, built to scale. We'd be building that on a site that we already own in Novi on 13 of Meadowbrook, and also building kind of a satellite site on the new Dublin Elementary School. So two of the corners of our district would have these early childhood centers.
Okay, so go ahead.
No, please, I'm sorry. There's so much more. But
yeah, no, so go ahead. So kind of taking things down to the ground, bringing them back up, and bringing them into this century.
So thank you. Well said. Right? Well said. Although I will tell you that at Western High School we'll be able to do that while students are still in session.
Okay.
And at Dublin we'll be able to do the same thing.
Really?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's a phasing issue, but we'll be able to do it. The Early Childhood Center can go up on ground that we already own. There's nothing there, so there's no demolition involved in that.
Okay, and that's important.
It is. Oh, for sure, for sure. We also have some, what I like to call not sexy stuff that's a part of this
right?
Bond proposal, and that involves boilers and chillers, HVAC, roofs, parking lots, the kind of thing that you don't want to kick the can down the road, right? Mm-hmm. But it's not exciting. We're also looking at learning environments in our schools, changing our classroom furniture, changing our setup, the way we do things. Students don't learn the way they did, and I would argue it wasn't always best to sit in rows, right?
Right,
do you remember your
sure.
school experience?
Yeah.
We're talking about more of a Starbucks seating arrangement, the way we see a lot of people working in the real world, in a lot of our classrooms, our media centers as well, kind of reimagining the way we deliver instruction.
Okay.
So that's a large component too. That's a little more sexy than boilers and chillers.
It is. But boilers and chillers are necessary.
They're absolutely necessary. Okay. They're absolutely necessary. And this is, like I said, a rare opportunity to do this.
So the reason you have bonds expiring.
We do. 4 of our 5, we've been really careful to restructure our bonds and pay them off early. So 4 of our 5 are expiring. And this would actually be a slight tax decrease were this to pass.
Okay. The vote coming up when?
May 7th. May
okay,
7th.
so not too far in the future.
No, a few weeks off, and I would encourage everyone to vote early and often.
Okay, so the question is, if anyone has any questions about these issues, how do they find out more? They're coming to you.
No, they're welcome to contact me. We also have
Okay.
an email address that's on our website that they can contact for bond information. We have an entire page on our website dedicated to more information than you'd ever want to know.
Okay.
And if for those who would question how you can actually do this at a tax decrease, there's a horribly boring but accurate video that our business person and I put together that's on our website as well.
Okay, so what's the website?
It is www.wlcsd.org.
Okay, and if anyone could talk to you personally, is that a possibility?
Just give me a call.
Number?
248-956-2011.
Okay, thank you so much.
Oh my
I
gosh,
really
thank
appreciate
you.
it.
It's my pleasure.
See, painless.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we've been joined by Kenneth Gutman, Superintendent of Walled Lake Consolidated School District. And on this week's episode of Parenting on the Go, I sat down with Jennifer Burgick, counselor at Walnut Creek Middle School. We spoke about the role of counselors in schools. Hi, welcome to Parenting on the Go. I'm Brooke Allen, and joining me today is Jennifer Burgick, counselor at Walnut Creek Middle School in the Walled Lake Consolidated School District. And thank you for being here today. So I guess the first question is, what does a school counselor do?
Professional school counselors today work a bit differently than the guidance counselors that parents may have had when they were in school. We use a comprehensive program that focuses on 3 different areas. We talk about career and college development, we talk about academic development, and probably most importantly, we work on social emotional development of children. And so we work with all the students in our schools to help them be well-rounded in all those areas.
Okay, so how do school counselors help students achieve all of that?
We approach it in kind of a 3-pronged facet with those 3 different areas. We do a lot of proactive work by going into classrooms and teaching skills. For example, we may go in and teach a whole class lesson on a specific study skill that would be helpful to our students. We do, again, career awareness lessons and things like that. In the social emotional realm, we may be teaching students skills on stress reduction and different things like that. For students who have a little bit greater need, we may cluster them together in small groups that we meet with at least once a week to help work on skills that would be of benefit to them. And then a lot of students we work with individually as needed for whatever barriers they may have to learning.
I know when I was in school, it was kind of different. You always thought, oh, the counselor's office is down the hall, and you only went there if maybe you were called down to the counselor's office. But you actually see the students on a regular basis.
Right. Well, we try very hard to see all of our students individually, at least several times a year. It just depends on their needs and how often we can have access to them.
So how are school counselors different than social workers or even psychologists?
In the school setting, we have very defined roles. So a school counselor has access to all the students. All the students in the school are assigned to a counselor, and we may get to know a student over several years if they're on our caseload for several years. Whereas social workers and psychologists typically work with students with a defined need, usually through special education. But we all do work together as a team to help meet whatever the needs of the child might be.
So how long have you been a counselor?
This is my 23rd year.
Really?
Yes.
So how come you decided to be a counselor?
I started out as a teacher, as a music teacher actually, and I just saw, I was in a real inner city district and saw that the social emotional needs of my kids were really strong, and so I just felt that that was more where I could be of use to students.
So what should parents know about helping their students?
The most important thing I want them to know is that if you have any concerns at all, the first thing you can do is call your child's counselor. And also I like parents to encourage their kids to get to know their school counselor. So seek out the counselor, even if it's just a friendly hello or get to know them in the hallway kind of conversations, because that way when needs do arise, the counselor is much more able to meet those needs and work with the parents and teachers to do whatever's best for that child.
So are there any additional resources out there that even students can know about or even parents?
As far as counseling resources? There's a very good website, the American School Counseling Association, and there are a lot of resources for parents on there on how to help your child and how to have a good relationship with your child's school counselor.
How often do you hear from parents?
Oh, frequently, through email, phone calls, and we really do work hard to create good relationships with our families so that when there is a need that arises, they feel very comfortable calling us.
And how about the student? Do you Are students embarrassed to reach out to you, do you think? Or
no, because we've made it part of our school culture that it's just normal to get to know your school counselor, and we're in the classrooms doing things with the kids, so they see us kind of in just a more natural way. We're just a part of their everyday life at school.
So that stigma of going to the counselor's office is kind of gone.
Right. We make it a good thing to, it's good to seek out help when you need it, and we really encourage that in our school.
So that's a good point, to seek out help when you need it. How do parents really drill that into a kid's head?
I think it's through conversation. We start it early when they, I work in a middle school setting, so as they enter into middle school, we make sure that we're establishing that relationship with the kids and with the parents, that they know who we are, they know we're a resource for them, and we really do encourage them to call us at the first sign of any concern.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. And thank you for watching this episode of Parenting on the Go. And if you would like to look up more helpful parenting tips, you can visit the West Bloomfield Youth Assistance website at wbyouthassistance.org. For more episodes of Parenting on the Go, visit civiccentertv.com/parenting-to-go. And now it's time for our final segment, Person of the Week, people in the community inspiring and providing toward others. And this week's recipient is West Bloomfield's Jacqueline Foreman, a student at Bloomfield High School. Seeking a challenge, Jacqueline Foreman pursued a greater knowledge of our nation's history by taking an advanced placement U.S. history class. Little did she know that her interest in history and her academic determination would lead her to our nation's capital. In a group project with her classmates, Jacqueline helped to produce a mini exhibit all about the conflict between Michigan and Ohio over the land known today as the city of Toledo. The project received national praise and held a stint at the Smithsonian Museum in our nation's capital. Recently, Jacqueline brought her group's project home, presenting this often overlooked information to neighbors in our community, giving back the knowledge of history that she has created and inspiring people to expand their academic horizons. Jacqueline's thirst for knowledge is contagious, and she is actively working to inspire others in our community to engage in their local history, which is why she is our Person of the Week. If you know someone who's making a positive difference, let us know. Send an email to thesplash@civiccentertv.com. We want to congratulate and acknowledge those making a difference in our community, and we appreciate all of your suggestions. That's it for this week's show. You can watch new episodes Mondays at 5:30 p.m. at Civic Center TV on Comcast 15, AT&T 99, and online in HD at civiccentertv.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Civic Center TV. And for more Metro Detroit news, you can listen to me and Greg Bowman weekdays from 2 to 7 p.m. on WWJ News Radio 950. For all our friends in Sylvan Lake, Orchard Lake, Kego Harbor, and West Bloomfield, I'm Brooke Allen. Thank you for watching The Splash.